on earth.
We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israel delays cabinet vote to approve Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal. USA's Gaza ceasefire implementation to start on time. French Prime Minister Francois Bayrou survives first no confidence vote in Parliament. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Bharat Mobility Global Expo in New Delhi aims to unite the entire mobility value chain under one umbrella. India's President Draupadi Murmu to confer National Sports Awards in New Delhi. Didu Kukesh, Harmanpreet Singh, Praveen Kumar and Manu Bhaker to get Khel Ratna. Well, updates on Israel-Hamas conflict first. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken expressed confidence on Thursday that the Gaza ceasefire agreed upon by Israel and Hamas will take effect on Sunday as scheduled. This despite a last-minute issue that needs to be resolved by the negotiators. Blinken, in his last news conference as the U.S. top diplomat, said he had been speaking to U.S. negotiator Brett McGurk and Qatari officials on Thursday morning to resolve the issue.
On the ceasefire, yes, I am confident and I fully expect that implementation will begin, as we said, on Sunday. Look, it's not exactly surprising that in a process, in a negotiation that has been this challenging and this fraught, you may get a loose end. We're tying up that loose end as we speak. I've been on the phone in one way or another all morning with Brett McGurk, with our Qatari friends, and I'm very confident that this is moving forward, and we'll see the start of implementation of the agreement on Sunday.
While Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa met with top representatives of the European Union in Brussels hours after a ceasefire and hostage release deal was announced, Hamas senior official Izzat el-Reshek said the group remained committed to the ceasefire deal, scheduled to take effect from Sunday to halt 15 months of bloodshed. The ceasefire accord emerged on Wednesday after mediation by Qatar, Egypt and the U.S. to stop the conflict that began with deadly Hamas attacks on Israel. The deal outlines a 6-week initial ceasefire with a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces. Dozens of hostages taken by Hamas would be freed in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners detained in Israel. This paves the way for a surge in humanitarian aid for Gaza, where the majority of the population has been displaced. The World Health Organization called on the international community to step up and fund a scaled-up aid response in Gaza after Israel and Hamas reached a ceasefire deal.
This is the time for member states, donors and the global community to step up, to provide this flexible funding and to enable these swift and effective responses and for the urgent and longer term needs. And the UN cannot deliver the response alone on all fronts. The private sector is critical and private supply chains should be restored and basic commodities allowed to flood Gaza.
Well, Israel's acceptance of the deal will not be official until it is approved by the Security Cabinet and the government. A vote had been expected on Thursday, but Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delayed the meeting, accusing Hamas of making last-minute demands. Israeli media outlets reported the cabinet was expected to vote on Friday or Saturday, but the Prime Minister's office declined to comment on the timing. hardliners in Netanyahu's government were still hoping to stop the deal, though a majority of ministers were expected to back it and ensure its approval. Its National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, said on Thursday he would resign from the government if it ratifies the Gaza deal.
Therefore, if the reckless deal is approved and implemented, the Jewish Power Party will give the resignation letter to the Prime Minister. The Jewish Power Party will not be part of the government and will withdraw from it. If the war on Hamas is renewed, that's what I said to the Prime Minister. With force in order to decide and release the unachieved goals of the war, we will return to the government.
Well, in Jerusalem, some Israelis marched through the streets carrying mock coffins in protest at the ceasefire, blocking roads and scuffling with the police. Other protesters blocked traffic until security forces dispersed them. The agreement leaves the fate of most of the remaining 98 Israeli hostages still in Gaza unresolved for now. The list of 33 due to go free in the first phase includes women, children, elderly, sick and wounded. And French Prime Minister Francois Bayrou passed the first test of his new minority government on Thursday as he survived a vote of no confidence called by the third left after the centre-left Socialist Party did not back the motion. This is the first no confidence vote Bayrou has faced after he formed the government on December 23, 2024. In a National Assembly with 577 lawmakers, 131 lawmakers voted in favour of the motion, well short of the 288 votes that were needed. Bayrou is the sixth Prime Minister to serve under President Emmanuel Macron. He was appointed last month after the resignation of Michel Barnier, who served just 3 months in office, making him the shortest-serving Prime Minister in French history. Well, as the Friday deadline to obtain a warrant to extend South Korean impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol detention or release loomed, investigators have called and arrested President Yoon Suk-yeol for questioning again. While his lawyer said he won't attend questioning in order to hold Yoon in custody for longer, investigators are expected on Friday to ask a court to approve a detention warrant for up to 20 days. On Wednesday, Yoon became the first sitting South Korean president to be arrested over a probe into whether he committed insurrection when he briefly imposed martial law in early December. He's being held at the Seoul Detention Center. South Korea is grappling with its worst political crisis in decades, sparked by Yoon's brief attempt to impose martial law on December 3rd that was voted down by the parliament. And British Prime Minister Keir Starmer signed a landmark 100-year partnership agreement with Ukraine during an unannounced visit to the country, seeking to shore up support for Kyiv. In Starmer's first official visit to Kyiv since taking office last July, he pledged a steadfast support in the face of the Russian invasion and said any deal to end the fighting must guarantee Ukraine's security and independence.
We must look at how this war could end. The practical ways to get a just and lasting peace. We agree that it must be a peace that guarantees your security, your independence, and your right to choose your own future. We will work with you and with all of our allies on steps that would be robust enough to guarantee Ukraine's security, guarantee any possible peace, and deter any future aggression. That conversation will continue in the months ahead.
And he later said that the UK would also discuss with allies deploying peacekeeping troops to Ukraine to help guarantee security following any ceasefire with Russia. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky hailed the 100-year accord, saying he hoped for similar agreements with other allies.
We have signed an agreement about 100 years partnership. We are confident in the independence of our state, and this is something Ukrainians will never give away. We are confident in our European partners, and this is something that strengthens Ukraine, Britain, and the whole Euro-Atlantic space.
Well, the visit is the latest meeting that Zelensky is holding in a flurry of talks with allies before Trump's return next week. And Cuban opposition leader José Daniel Ferrer was among a group of prisoners released on Thursday in a landmark deal with departing U.S. President Joe Biden. Ferrer is the most high-profile of the prisoners that Cuba began freeing on Wednesday after Biden agreed to remove the country from Washington's list of terrorism sponsors. In return for being removed from the U.S. terror list, Cuba promised to release 553 people. Over 30 people have been freed as part of the deal so far. Cuba said it will continue to gradually release prisoners from its jails in the coming days and weeks. Well, Sudan's army-aligned foreign ministry rejected as a model U.S. sanctions declared on Thursday against Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. In a statement, it said the sanctions express only confusion and a weak sense of justice after 21 months of war between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. On Thursday, the U.S. Treasury Department announced sanctions against Burhan, accusing the army of attacking schools, markets and hospitals and using food deprivation as a weapon of war. It came a week after the U.S. slapped sanctions on RSF commander Mohammad Hamdan Dagalo, accusing his group of committing genocide. Outgoing Secretary of State Antony Blinken voiced regret at his failure to end the brutal war. Blinken, who leaves office on Monday, said the army had repeatedly failed to join peace initiatives, although he hoped President-elect Donald Trump would keep trying on Sudan.
Another real regret that when it comes to Sudan, we haven't been able on our watch to get to that day of success. As I said, some improvements in getting humanitarian assistance in through our diplomacy, but not an end to the conflict, not an end to the abuses, not an end to the suffering of people. We'll keep working it for the next 3 days, and I hope the next administration will take that on as well.
Well, former President Jair Bolsonaro's defense filed a request on Thursday with Brazil's highest court to urgently reconsider the decision to bar him from traveling to the United States. Bolsonaro's defense claimed that he has fully complied with and respected the precautionary measures imposed on him by the Supreme Court and also rejected any possibility of him fleeing. Early on Thursday, Supreme Court refused to return the passport former president so that he could attend the inauguration of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Bolsonaro, who has been barred from running for office until 2030 and faces criminal charges for allegedly plotting a coup after his 2022 election defeat, had his passport retained in February 2024 on the order of Brazil's top court. And SpaceX lost its Starship rocket during its 7th test flight, an unexpected setback after the company had made steady progress during its test flight campaign for the vehicle. Despite the loss of the Starship upper portion, the company again showcased its ability to catch the rocket's lower portion in midair using giant mechanical arms. It was supposed to attempt to reach near orbital speeds and deploy 10 dummy spacecraft designed to mimic the size, shape and weight of the upgraded SpaceX Starlink satellites that Starship will be launching in the future. It was to be the first time Starship attempted to deploy cargo in space, an important milestone in readying the rocket for operational use. But after 15 minutes into the mission, SpaceX lost communications with Starship. Launch commentators then said the vehicle had been lost. About 6 minutes into the flight, SpaceX used joint mechanical arms to catch the rocket's super heavy lower portion, the same stunning engineering maneuver it completed during the rocket's 5th test flight in October. And now latest updates in Los Angeles fire. Firefighters were making steady progress on the deadly fires that have destroyed thousands of homes and other buildings across the region. But residents must prepare for a return of the strong winds that could rekindle and spread the flames as authorities warn. Los Angeles Fire Department has cautioned the residents to clear all the bushes within 200 feet of their homes as harsh Santa Ana winds expected to return next week. The Palisades and Eaton fires, along with several smaller blazes, have burned nearly 40,000 acres in Los Angeles County so far. The number of deaths attributed to the fires in Los Angeles rose to 27. Nearly 150,000 people have so far signed an online petition demanding the immediate resignation of Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass over his gross mismanagement and a lack of leadership during the devastating wildfires in the region. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Indonesian President to be the chief guest at India's 76th Republic Day celebrations. Religious fervour continues in Prayagraj as millions of devotees take holy dip during Maha Kumbh 2025. And in sports, we'll give you an update on the ongoing Hockey India League.
Timeless, boundless and infinite, the essence of faith, the soul of Sanatan culture, from the sacred confluence of Prayag, where divinity descends to earth. Witness the grandeur, the devotion, the magic, world's largest cultural and spiritual gathering, with over 450 million devotees expected to attend. Maha Kumbh, India's greatest festival of faith. Exclusively on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Dipakshi Khurana, and on to some business news. The Bharat Mobility Global Expo will be held in Delhi from January 17th to 22nd, 2025. The event will feature major automakers unveiling and launching a range of concept and production-ready vehicles. Prime Minister Modi will be inaugurating the second edition of the event. DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya has more with more inputs.
Welcome to Bharat Mobility Global Expo 2025, India's premier global mobility show, bringing the world's leading automotive and mobility players under one roof.
Now in its second edition, Bharat Mobility Global Expo will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi on Friday. The event is a game changer for the mobility industry, uniting the entire value chain to co-create the future of mobility. The theme for 2025, Beyond Boundaries, Co-Creating Future Automotive Value Chain, emphasizes collaboration, innovation and sustainability to drive cutting-edge advancements. Spanning over 200,000 square meters across three iconic venues, Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi, Yashobhumi in Dwarka, and India Expo Center and Mart in Greater Noida, the 6-day extravaganza promises unparalleled opportunities to connect, innovate and inspire. With over 9 concurrent shows and 500,000 visitors expected, the Expo showcases the full spectrum of mobility solutions, from electric and hybrid vehicles to connected and autonomous technologies, sustainable urban transport systems, battery technologies, and beyond. International participation is at an all-time high, with 5,100 global players joining forces to shape the future of mobility. Adding to the excitement are 15-plus conferences, bringing industry leaders together to share insights and spark new ideas.
The good part about the show is like we get the entire audience of the industry, right from the top decision makers, from CEOs to purchase heads to right to the bottom level of probably aftermarket mechanics. So we get the entire spectrum of the automotive industry at the show.
Supported by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and hosted by leading industry associations, Bharat Mobility Global Expo 2025 highlights India's growing prominence on the global mobility stage.
Bharat Mobility Global Expo 2025 is shaping the future of mobility in the country. The event is an opportunity to connect, innovate and inspire. Bharat Mobility Global Expo 2025 is where the future of mobility begins. With camera person Gaurav Giri, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
And Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto will be the chief guest at 76th Republic Day celebrations on January 26th. India's External Affairs Ministry in a statement said that Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto will pay a state visit to India at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This will be President Prabowo's first visit to India as president after assuming office in October 2024. The forthcoming state visit of President Prabowo will provide an opportunity for the leaders to undertake a comprehensive review of bilateral ties as well as to discuss regional and global issues of mutual interest. An Indian Army successfully conducted capability demonstration launch of the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile at extended range, engaging a target in the Bay of Bengal with pinpoint accuracy. A tremendous leap forward in self-reliant India and precision strike capability, the BrahMos is capable of flying at nearly 3 times the speed of sound and launching from ships, land and aircraft. And now for all the news from the Maha Kumbh, the largest religious congregation in the world. Well, the Maha Kumbh 2025, a significant religious event underway in the holy city of Prayagraj, with lakhs of devotees taking holy dip in Triveni Sangam, the confluence of sacred rivers Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. During this sacred period, enhances spiritual power and aids in attaining salvation. This mega event, attracting millions of devotees, tourists and pilgrims from across the world, offers a unique opportunity to showcase India's cultural, spiritual heritage and tourism potential. The Maha Kumbh is one of the largest and most significant religious congregations in the world, held every 12 years at one of 4 locations in India. The Maha Kumbh 2025, which is Purna Kumbh, is taking place in Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj till February 26, 2025. Well, it was an extraordinary moment for a 21-member international delegation which arrived in Prayagraj to witness the largest religious and cultural gathering in the world at the Maha Kumbh 2025. DD India's Siddharth Bharadwaj gets us more on this.
Invited by Government of India, these representatives from 10 countries embarked on a sacred journey to the Sangam, a confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati.
We never thought that this event would be such a heartfelt movement of humanity. And out of the religious and the pilgrimage, it's a perfect discovery of human nature itself.
The Maha Kumbh, and it's something new to me. Full new experience that I never ever saw before. I mean, 144 years the event is happening, and we were lucky enough to attend such an event, which is really beautiful. 400 million people are expected by the country for this event for the whole month. What an organized place. What a very nice security we saw. Lovely.
The delegates from Fiji, Finland, Guyana, Malaysia, Mauritius, Singapore, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Trinidad and Tobago and the UAE enjoyed a breathtaking aerial view of the Maha Kumbh. The delegation shared their experiences.
I just want to thank the government of India. I want to thank the people of India for inviting us, for looking after us, taking care of us and educating us. This is something that we will take back home to our families back in Fiji.
We have all been part of something exceptional, and no matter our belief, we have been part of this huge Hindu family.
I feel honored, very honored to be here because it is happening after 144 years. And I just hope that everybody who came to get their spiritual cleansing is going to go back to their houses feeling blessed.
As the Maha Kumbh Mela continues to captivate hearts and minds of people from around the globe, the sacred rituals and profound cultural exchanges serve as a reminder of the deep connection between faith, tradition, and humanity.
The Maha Kumbh 2025 has certainly made its mark on the global map. This is not just a spiritual gathering. It's a confluence of cultures, confluence of emotions, and confluence of devotion. The mega festival will run till February 26th.
With camera person Rakesh Kumar, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
And India's President Draupadi Murmu to confer National Sports Awards 2024 on Friday at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. President Murmu will confer Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Awards to Indian sportspersons Gukesh D, Harmanpreet Singh, Praveen Kumar and Manu Bhaker. In a ceremony, 32 Arjun Awards will also be given to athletes for outstanding performance in sports and games. And Thierry Brinkman struck a magnificent brace as Kalinga Lancers thrashed Delhi Pipers 5-1 in Hockey India League on Thursday. The Lancers were in top form, dominating both offensively and defensively as they secured a comprehensive victory. The match got off to a flying start, with Lancers taking the lead in the 11th minute by Nicholas Banderuk's early goal. Later, Arthur Van Dorena and Thierry Brinkman also scored to make it 3-0 going into half-time. The Lancers were ruthless in the second half, further extending their lead. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.